A funny thing happened on the way to space. Now, I say space very loosely. Today, I'm going to show you what I think the space shuttle actually was. But before I do that, we've got to strip the space shuttle bare and expose it for all to see. And then it's going to make it easy and obvious even for space fans to see. I'm going to show you how silly the space shuttle program was. I'm going to use footage from the very first ever space shuttle mission, STS-1. We join the action as the space shuttle is supposedly doing 17,500 miles an hour around the globe Earth. They've just opened their cargo doors and they're about to do an inspection. So let's have a look.
Okay, we want to show you all here. We do have a few tiles missing off of both of them, off of the starboard pod, three tile and some smaller pieces, and off the port pod. Looks like I see one full square and looks like a few little triangular shapes that are missing, and we're trying to put that on TV right now. Roger, Grip, we can see that good.
So that's not good. As you can see, several of the tiles, the heat tiles, which protect the space shuttle against extreme temperatures during re-entry, several of those tiles are actually missing. Yeah, really not good and quite revealing. And this is where it starts to get sillier and sillier. I'm over at Google. How are the space shuttle tiles attached? The tiles were not mechanically fastened to the vehicle, but glued. Since the brittle tiles could not flex with the underlying vehicle skin, they were glued to Nomex felt strain isolation pads with room temperature vulcanizing silicon adhesive, which in turn glued to the orbiter's skin. So essentially that's a lot of fancy names to describe essentially these tiles were glued to the orbiter. Oh dear. So back with the original clip and an extra clip regarding the aluminium skin that lies underneath these ceramic tiles that protect the space shuttle.
Okay, we want to show you all here. We do have a few tiles missing off of both of them, off of the starboard pod, three tile and some smaller pieces, and off the port pod. Looks like I see one full square and looks like a few little triangular shapes that are missing, and we're trying to put that on TV right now. Roger, Grip, we can see that good.
The aluminum skin will melt at 320 degrees. The silicate tiles must insulate the vehicle from the tremendous heat.
So the aluminium skin that's underneath these tiles will melt when it's exposed to temperatures greater than 320 degrees. And that's a major problem when we're looking at this old school footage from STS-1. Because essentially, we've now got parts of the space shuttle that are exposed. They're weak links in the chain, if you like, where we've got the aluminium skin not protected by a heat tile. What makes it worse now, the temperatures during re-entry, NASA have told us it's around about 3,000 degrees, which would be terrible for this situation which we see on our screen right now. But they're ranging from anything from 3,000 degrees from NASA all the way up to 9,000 degrees from a NASA legend, a space shuttle legend, Gibson, who had this to say about temperatures regarding re-entry.
Start hitting the Earth's atmosphere because you'll start to see a little bit of a glow outside your window. It's white hot outside. It's just as bright as day. And the air outside is 9,000 degrees. Well, that's hotter than the surface of the sun.
Just think about it logically. If this thing was coming back in at 17,500 miles an hour, yeah, the moment it hit the Earth's atmosphere and started to feel resistance from the air, and of course friction, and of course high temperatures, The lack of aerodynamics here due to the missing tiles would cause serious problems. The glue would fail, the aluminium skin would melt underneath the tiles that are not even there. The hot air would get underneath these tiles here and rip them off, exposing more of the aluminium skin, and this aircraft would just disintegrate. That's at 3,000 degrees, yet alone the 9,000 Hoop was on about. Doesn't matter who's right, whether it's NASA or the NASA legend. Coming back in at 17,500 miles an hour, hit an atmosphere, these tiles would be ripped off the back, the temperatures would just melt the aluminium skin. This thing would have essentially just been burnt to pieces. For anyone claiming, oh, they fixed it before they returned, no. So I'm over at NASA STS-1, touchdown, landing the first space shuttle mission. We get an image here. I'm just going to nip into the image. When I zoom in, we can see the tiles haven't been replaced, which means this space shuttle didn't come back from space doing 17,500 miles an hour, hit a globe Earth atmosphere, encounter temperatures ranging from 3,000 to 9,000 degrees. No, didn't encounter any of that or do any of that, because it would have actually ripped up and burnt up and been absolutely obliterated upon re-entry. The aluminium skin that was under the tiles that had fallen away would have been exposed to ridiculous temperatures, and the spacecraft, due to a failure of aerodynamics and a failure of space heat protection, would have failed and been destroyed upon re-entry. But strangely enough, it had no problems landing, which means it didn't encounter the things they said it did. Just highlighting yet again the fraud that is this space shuttle program. They can't get their story straight. The reason they can't is because it's lies. So this, in my opinion, is how they got away with the space shuttle fraud. 1. A good firework display. The launch. 2. Space pantomime performances. Essentially theatrics, to get the naive and gullible to believe the astronauts are actually in space after the rocket launch. And then 3. The return of the space shuttle, supposedly from an orbit. But myself and many others have highlighted that's more than likely done by space shuttle jets, just returning from an undisclosed location, landing, claiming to have come back from space. And you want proof of that? Check this footage out of the Russian space shuttle Buran taking off and landing. Like I say, that's how easy it would have been to fool the public. Provide a firework display, some theatrics, and then the jet plane lands claiming to have come back from space, and voila, you've got a space shuttle program. It's ridiculous. And that is why whenever NASA's space shuttle landed, it was accompanied by chase planes, jets. That way whoever's on the ground watching it land wouldn't be able to tell, wouldn't be able to hear the fact the space shuttle itself was a jet. They'd just think it was the chase planes themselves they were hearing. Very clever, really, when you think about it. But when you strip the thing bare, by common sense logic, it just falls apart under its own claims. And yeah, I find that Buran Russian space shuttle footage very revealing. Have a good one, everyone.